Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Page Burners, where we are reading the Malazan Book, The Fallen, and really all the Malazan books by Stephen Erikson and Ian Esselmont, beginning with these initial few books of The Fallen by Erikson. We will be jumping into the Bokalin and Corporal Broach novellas as soon as we finish this book. We'll be doing the first one of that, whatever that book is called. But in the meantime, we are
Blood
back to
follows.
discuss. Oh, Blood Follows. There we go. Thank you, Varsha. And yes, I have usurped her today, so you're welcome. We have read, chapters 20 and 21. And so that is what we will be discussing today, except for Varsha, who is just here to crash the party, and she didn't read the chapters. So
How
I'm
mean.
Carl.
I missed you guys last week and so decided to show up even though I haven't read. And I get labeled a party crasher. I'm sad
I
now.
also missed us last week, but I actually read the chapters. So
Fine.
I will start us off as we normally do with what I'm most looking forward to talking about this week. And I think very simply, it is how I'm going to be a hater for a second. And it's Whiskey Jack, Corlat. I'm the anti shipper for them. I don't like it. I really get so bored anytime they're on the page, and so today I'm going to be a hater because as I was reading these pages, there's a lot of them, and I was just reminded, like, anything else? Give me anything else. That said, actually, something I'm really excited to talk about is Quick Ben just punking everyone. He's the best. I'm reminded why I love him so much. And with that said, I will hand it off to Dan.
Yeah. Dan, actually, what you mentioned made me think about something. Is it this chapter that they're talking about Silver Fox and parent talk?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah. So I guess connect to what you said. I'm also getting validating these chapters on that relationship about not liking it. So I want to talk about that.
I also want to talk about that. I'm glad you mentioned that. All right, and
You guys
Shannon.
are horrible. I'm so glad I showed up today.
Thank you, Carl and Dan. I also wanted to talk about Perrin realizing that he just had an infatuation with Silverleaf, and I feel completely validated. But also I want to talk about the night of High House Death that shows up. I thought that was really cool.
Oh, yeah.
And really just a lot of chapter 21, like the revelations about kind of what happened in Pale back in the first book. A lot I want to talk about. So, Varsha, I'll hand it off to you.
So I want to talk about the thing that I just stopped reading it, so I'm probably going to bullshit my way through it. But I want to talk about the thing that Krupp says about the 4 people involved in the I guess the sort of rebirth / reuniting of the wolf gods.
Fantastic. All right, well, let's start off then at the beginning of our reading here, chapter 20. We get an amazing epigraph talking about those wolf gods. And you know what? I maybe that's a good place to start, actually, is with those wolf gods and with the 3 pages you read, Varsha.
I read more than that. I read. Okay, I'll shut up.
I round down. So
How? By a factor of 10? Because I read at least 30. Anyway, maybe. So the 4 people that Krupp says, I don't know where this goes because this is exactly where I stopped. But what I want to do is break down the 4 people that Krupp says are involved, right? Disparate spirits are united in their resolve, a spirit of hard edges to hold the others to their course despite all the pain that others must bear. Another spirit to clasp hard the hurt of abandonment, until it can find proper answer. And yet a third spirit filled with love and compassion, if somewhat witless, granted to so flavor the pending moment. And a fourth possessing the power to achieve the necessary reparation of old wounds. Now, this seems like he's talking about the people within Silver Fox, right? And I kind of want to talk about which is which, if that makes sense. And so Silver Fox seems to have the hurt of abandonment, because she said during the second gathering a few times she complained and got angry about being abandoned, specifically by Pranchol. But because I read one paragraph past this before I had to stop and it was time for recording, we found out also here that she is Pranchol's daughter. So I guess that makes more sense now. But she is also, I guess, maybe the night chill part of her is the one with hard edges, who's willing to take difficult decisions to get where they need. And I guess compassion, maybe, I'm guessing Tatasale. And if we think Belladon is still there, like we haven't seen any sign of him, but if Belladon is there, is he? But then, like, Tatasale is being called witless. The power to achieve the necessary reparation.
Can you say what page this is? Because I actually don't remember this
On
discussion
my
at all.
copy, it's 859. Oh, who didn't read now, Carl? Anyway,
Well, okay.
Well, I have no clue what's going on, so
Oh, really?
I can't remember this part at all.
Is
I
this
probably
okay? I don't know. On my copy, it's 859.
I probably read through it. It was like, I guess I'm not supposed to know anything of this. I just didn't dwell too much on it, because sometimes
Yeah.
there is stuff like that, right?
That's true.
But I don't know.
And this is in chapter 20. Krupp is
Yes.
talking about. Okay.
This is when Itkovian comes out of the tent, and then he's having a conversation with Whiskey Jack and Kolat and all the others. Oh, and Krupp is filling them in Paran. But the other thing I want to say is this is supposedly about Silver Fox, but we also know people who are not Silver Fox who have these issues, I think, and who are potentially coming together to do something about Tog and the others. For instance, the fourth, possessing the power to achieve the necessary reparation of old wounds, it could be Itkovian, right? Because of his whole absolution business. The somewhat witless person filled with love and compassion could be Krupp, and the spirit of hard edges could be Silver Fox herself, because of what she just did with the Tilanamas. And then the heart of abandonment. I don't know if I think Talk is feeling pretty abandoned right this moment. So I did wonder if that's sort of like a double meaning paragraph there. Except none of you guys remember anything that I'm talking about. So where do we go from here?
I mean, not to say it, I don't know, but I don't know if they fit exactly. Maybe I'm missing some things. Like, it's not clicking for me, like, oh, obviously that guy is that one, right? It's not super obvious, I think.
No, I'm with you there. I that's what I'm struggling with so much here, is that none of those, like, that just doesn't really sound right. Like, Itkovian sounds right for the like that fits with what we know. But I mean, if we're talking about the wolves here. They're talking about the wolves, and they're, because my thought would be, if you're gonna call someone like witless but kind, or whatever the descriptor was, like, that
So
sounds
this
like
is
Talk.
Krupp. Sorry, yeah. Oh, that's possible.
Could
But
be the
filled with
vibe, maybe?
Hmm?
Maybe
Oh,
the vibe? No,
her
but
too.
was...
But not witless though.
Yeah, she doesn't
So-
seem stupid. Talk is actively, like, we have railed against his, like, incredibly stupid decision making, you know, and I think it's intentional, right? Like, he definitely could be called witless, but he's also, like, his biggest, most notable character trait in a positive way is that he's like a compassionate, chill, decent person, you know? He
But
takes
it's weird
people
to
at
call someone witless, right? Someone else witless. Like it's a bit weird.
That's why I think it's Krupp, because he's
I
doing the
guess.
talking here. And so he's freely calling
But
himself
also,
witless.
yeah, I guess so.
Maybe. I don't know. It's
That said, Krupp, I feel like, doesn't ever call himself stupid. He's magnanimous Krupp, you know? Like, he's always talking himself up. I don't know that he would ever, like, he'll talk about his, like, weight, but even then he's, like, talking about how bountiful he is, and, you know, like, his love of sweets and things like that. Like, I just don't, like...
I don't know if I agree. Like, he always talks about, you know, like, he says, nah, don't pay attention to me. I'm just, you know, talking over here. In as much as he refers to his smarts.
I don't know. This is an interesting mystery, and I'm frustrated I can't find the page that this is on. I have found the page where they're talking about the fourth spirit inside Silver Fox, which is the Talani
it's the
Mass
paragraph
Bonecaster.
before that.
Oh,
when
okay.
Quickben says fourth, it's the paragraph just before that.
Okay. Frail fragments come as fraught dreams, and the promise of reunion and rebirth are lost. Unrecognized, the redemption promise wandering a tundra alone, howling with the wind, yet salvation is at hand. Disparate spirits are united in their resolve, a spirit of hard edges, to hold the others to their course despite all the pain that others must bear. Another spirit to clasp hard the hurt of abandonment until it can find proper answer. And yet a third spirit filled with love and compassion, if somewhat witless granted, to so flavor the pending moment. And a fourth, possessing the power to achieve the necessary reparation of old wounds.
I mean, even if they're talking about just Silver Fox, I don't really know which is which. But I kind of like the idea of the double meaning, whether or not it's intended.
Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying. I think it's talking about 4 different people, though. Like, the
It ends
fourth,
with
possessing the power to achieve the necessary reparation of old wounds, sounds like Kitkovian to me, just given his superpowers. And yeah, the abandonment, that definitely... I think...
or Silver Fox, I don't know.
Or Maib. The Maib might be.
Or Maib, yeah.
She's
Yeah,
been
Maib,
abandoned,
maybe, yeah.
and she doesn't have her answers. She thinks she does, but she doesn't.
And the wolves are involved somehow with her, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. I mean, the conclusion of that is Quickben saying, oh, who's the fourth in Silver Fox? So we have to think he's talking about 4 spirits within Silver Fox, but also maybe he's not talking about the spirits within Silver Fox.
I don't think so, but maybe I'm not.
What? You think it is Silver Fox?
It's only then, I guess I could see, like, maybe the witless compassion be, like, Bellerden, right? He was kind of, like, a bit more...
Yes.
Yeah, he did want to do something about nature. Oh, yeah, I suppose that was something that, yeah, makes sense.
I wouldn't call... He was filled with love. Like, he loved Nightchill, but I wouldn't say he was filled with compassion. Like, Tattersail to me would feel like more of that, but at the same time, I wouldn't call her witless, and I don't know why Krupp would.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, that's also the thing. I don't know if Krupp would call any of the spirits in Silver Fox witless. Except maybe Bellerden, maybe. What do you think, Shannon? And also maybe we can, like, you know...
I also wasn't totally sure what you were talking about.
Damn it.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll have to table this one for now as a mystery.
We'll come back when the book ends.
If we remember it, yeah.
So we'll forget.
This is on you, Varsha. You've got to remember it. Okay.
I will try.
What else happens? They talk about... Is this when they talk about Taishren and everything, or...
think it was late.
No, that's
No, that's
21.
later. Damn, a lot happens in 21. What happens in this chapter?
Some meetings and
Chapter 20.
Caroli unveiling himself, unmasking himself as the Elder God himself.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. That was cool. I did not remember that.
Yeah, it was interesting. But why does he care about being on the council of this random city? I was
That's
wondering.
a good question.
It's just a random city, right? It's not like these are just random priests in a random city. It's not special in any way, right?
Well, it's not random in that it's on the front lines of the battle against the Panion Doman.
Well, not anymore, I guess. It was before, but...
He's not staying behind, though.
Oh, he's not?
No, I think he left with everyone else, didn't he?
I assume that since he joined the council, basically, now he was staying in the city because he joined the council. That's what I assumed.
I don't think permanently, no. I think that was him kind of jumping in temporarily there.
I see.
I mean, it's not the greatest city that ever was or ever will be, Karth, but it's Kapustan. I mean, it's still a pretty cool city. It's not much of a city anymore because everybody got eaten, but yeah, I don't know. Why is the Mass Council so important? I'm really not sure.
Yeah, they're just kind of a pain in the ass, to be honest. Like that, I feel like that's what they're good for, causing problems.
Like when Rathburn tried to steal the hammer from Kaladin Brood, first opportunity to steal power. It's like, yeah, give me. Why don't you give me the hammer? You're not doing what you're supposed to. Give me.
Yeah.
Also, why is he...
Oh my.
Like, isn't it... I thought it was dangerous for the gods to be in the mortal realm, right?
Yes, it is.
So he is putting himself in danger by being
I think so.
there,
Yeah.
I think, right?
Yep.
Okay. I'm wondering. And I wonder how it works, because, like...
You would think so, yeah.
Yeah. Like, with the warrants and everything.
I mean, it didn't work out well for a night show.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Yeah.
Or Fenrir.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the whole premise, right? Is that Fenrir now is exceptionally vulnerable.
So why isn't it the same for Cruel, then?
Well, I mean, maybe it is, but also I do think he's unique among the gods in that his body are the Warrens. His body is the Warrens.
Well,
which is
and
both
I think
metaphor,
it's...
but also real, I think.
I think there's also something to be said about Fenrir being pulled into the earth, whatever, like pulled down. Like, I think that makes him a little more vulnerable. Like, I think Cruel would probably be more like Night Chill, where it's a god putting themselves out there in a human body. So they're theoretically a little vulnerable, but not.
What if someone randomly stabs him and then the whole world dies because...
No, I don't think that's how it works. Yeah.
No, that's not how it works.
I don't think it works that way.
No.
I think his real bodies are the Warrens, as opposed to like he even says he's like just in like a I forget his exact phrasing, but it's like a corporeal like form of sorts, like an avatar situation, as opposed to like Night Chill, who was literally embodying herself as a mortal or in a mortal form. I feel like there's a slight difference there. It's weird. It's confusing. You know,
even then, I don't think Night Chill would be that easy to kill. Like, it was still...
No, yeah, a stab wouldn't do it.
Well, why not? Why wouldn't a stab kill them? I think he would. I don't see why not. They're not... Like, does their body change? Is the demon body only killable by magic things? Like, no, god body, I mean? I assume she was like a human Night Chill.
I suspect it would take multiple stabs. Or, like, doing something so the wound never heals.
At least 2.
So, do you think if you're an ascendant, like, for example, if you slip in the bathtub and hit your head, you're not going to die? Do you think?
No, I don't think so. No.
Remember
I see.
in Dead House Gates when there was this whole shock reveal of the guys who had been through the I guess the Talon Warren, right?
Yeah.
I think Gessler and the others. And Coltrane punched the guy, and he
Yeah.
didn't. He barely got hurt, but Coltrane also barely got hurt, and they
Mhm.
started healing. So I guess they have special
True.
healing powers if they're gods / ascendants.
Mm,
Maybe it takes more effort to kill them.
Mhm.
should become like tiny Superman or something. Bit
Yeah.
stronger, more durable, more everything. Okay.
Durable.
Well, yeah, I guess so.
That's a good word for it.
I didn't think about it.
Speaking of ascendants and stuff, one thing that was dropped, I think it was in chapter 20, was that they had mentioned they were talking about Tog and Fanderay, and I like the idea that they're ascended wolves. Like they're not human soul taken or anything. They are actually wolves who became ascendant. And I think that's really cool because they're animals. They're not like we can't expect them to think like humans. They're wolves. So like I think that really throws like a real wild card out there for them. And it kind of made me wonder how does an animal become an ascendant? I don't know. They must do something pretty cool.
That's a good question. I mean, I think we have some inkling of like setup for this in terms of Gareth is supposed to be a Hound of Shadow or something like that, but is refusing to be. And so that was kind of our introduction to the idea that like, oh, animals can ascend as well. And my understanding though is with these elder gods, Tog and Fanderay, is that they are like proper gods. They're not just like wolves that ascended. Like I think they were like properly like worshipped into existence by other wolves.
I think maybe last time we discussed it, or another time before, but I think at some point we discussed like how did these elder gods get created, right? Did they also ascend or not? Right. Because maybe they also did ascend, I guess. I guess we don't know.
Yeah, it's unclear. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I guess can all the animals ascend? Do the animals achieve sentience when they ascend? Are they always sentient? Like, as in humans?
Are these wolves sentient apart from wanting to reunite with their mates? I guess we've had an inkling of the wolf in talk, and he feels pretty animal to me.
What would you want
in the sense of not particular, like maybe not sapient?
Like that. So they only follow instincts.
Well, I think this gets into closer to what Sharon was saying, that like it is a kind of alien mindset they have. It's not a human mindset or a Teast mindset or whatever.
Yeah. And I mean, and they straight up tell us these guys were ancient when Karul was new, so these guys predate all of what we think of as the elder gods. Like these were their elder gods. So I just think that's like we can't really take for granted how they think. Like, they're not human. They're something different.
Where the hell are the dinosaur gods? We met the dinosaurs. Where are their gods?
Well, where are the insect gods? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, where are the insect gods? That sounds really scary. I don't like
always that in the books. The gods are always like the cool animals.
The insect diverse are terrifying. So yeah.
I'm gonna make an obscure Children of Time reference. The insect god is a crystal.
Oh yeah, I see.
I don't got that, but I do plan on reading that hopefully the next year or so.
Yeah, I got my copy someday.
Yeah,
me too. Maybe it's. I choose to believe it's there somewhere.
Somewhere. Living its best life.
Well,
You know,
probably
not
because they don't worry about war and shit like that. They worry about other things, I would assume.
yeah. Who needs a Warren when you're the insect god?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure if you put together, I don't know how you calculate the ascendancy. Do you need willpower? Do you need, how is the energy made into, because if you just count like the body mass, I'm sure the insect would outnumber everything.
I
They
wouldn't
should
think
have the
about it
most
too
powerful
scientific.
gods.
Like, don't make it too mechanical. It won't work out that way.
Yeah, I know.
There are too many different ways it happens.
It's fun to think.
So the rest of chapter 20, we have a lot of kind of talking about where things are going, who they're up against. Lady Envy is getting closer and closer with her party, and we actually hear Mock speak, the third ranked Segula, which was fun. His voice is very different than I expect it to be, and we have a kind of killer ending there about the tyrant, the terrible tyrant that the Talani Mass faced. That kind of broke them in a way. He was a human, needless to say. I love that ending. I just think it's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, how was he so bad that they stopped their jacket thing to fight him, right?
Mhm.
Well, I don't know that you'd have to look very far in real life to guess. You know, human history is full of terrible tyrants. You know, I think transplant one of those, and especially if you consider they got like magical superpowers and dinosaur nukes, like anything could happen.
The Talani Mass did not fight. Oh, what's his name? The guy that took him with a big sword.
Calor?
Calor. They didn't fight Calor, so he wasn't bad enough to be, considered.
Well, I'm just gonna say he talked about coming from a sail, and there is a book, one of Essalon's book called A Sail. So stick it in your back pocket. You might find out what this is talking about eventually.
In like 4 years from now, we'll get there.
Wait, so it's not even main books?
Yeah.
He put he put like a cliffhanger for something that's not even in the main series?
Maybe.
Well, it is in a main series.
Sail is going to be, yeah.
Okay.
This world is so big, it's crazy. All the like just how much that they gamed or like invented, that they can just like casually reference, and they then like pay off down. I mean, I do wonder sometimes, like a trick with world building is often like alluding to something and not actually having any idea what it is, and so it's like not as deep as it seems. It's the illusion of depth, and I do wonder where in this series it's the illusion of depth, right, versus the actual like, oh yeah, they have all of this history worked out, or they know exactly what happened when, who did what, that sort of thing. But I suspect we will never know because they want to keep that illusion. They want to keep the magic, and I don't blame them.
You can always dive deeper. Just like real history, you can dive deeper and deeper and deeper on any topic, and there's always like infinite amount of resources and more detail and more nuance that you didn't even think of at the beginning. Right? So I'm sure not everything is covered.
No, for sure.
One thing I did want to talk about near the end of chapter 20. So it's Envy and all of them. They come across this. They described it as a Mekros structure, and I thought that was really cool. I kind of want to talk about that. Like, so it's described as cities that float. And Mock talks about them and how they sometimes come to Segula. What's the name of it? The Segula Island? I don't remember. But sometimes they come there and get their butt kicks, presumably. But But yeah, the Mekros. Do anybody have any thoughts on that?
The name sounds so familiar, but I could not remember if there's more meaning there that I'm just like forgetting about. I enjoy anything with the Sugula though. They're just such anime characters. Like it's hysterical about how people, they all fight each other, and anytime someone shows up, they fight, and then they kick their ass and kick them out. And with the exception of Animander Rake, who shows up and is undefeated, just beautiful, hysterical. I love it. But no, Mekros, I have no real thoughts about.
Okay, yeah, I think all we're given here is the Mekros. They live in islands or cities that float around. I don't know. I don't think they give us too much all beyond that yet. But this one got caught in a bunch of ice, presumably something Jaghut kind of reliant, or so yeah. So it's all messed up with ice and caught here, but I don't know. Hopefully we'll see more of the Mekros.
I was reminded, I don't know if it's real or not, but I was reminded of reading at some point about this, maybe Southeast Asian people or Chinese or something, which did basically, they live on the water in this big sort of like cities where they just connect the boats and stuff like that, and they basically live almost all the time on the water. But I can't remember what their name is or something, but maybe.
Yes, the ancient civilization of Waterworld.
No, I'm sure I'm not thinking about that. About that amazing movie. But yeah, the idea is very cool. I think those floating cities.
All right.
Yeah, I hope we're gonna see more of it later.
And we do get part of this end with Envy is they do mention Poliel, who is like, what is she? She's like the goddess of
disease,
of like plagues and disease and stuff. Yeah, so she's allied with the crippled god. So we
that was a
get
big
this
reveal.
idea that the crippled god isn't alone. Like he's actually got other gods on his side, which I thought was a big reveal. Yeah,
that very much does feel like a match made in heaven. Like that elementally, that feels appropriate. That like the goddess of disease and the god of like broken things and like the tormented. Like yeah, they're probably gonna buddy up. They're gonna understand each other better than like the goddess of beauty or something. You know what I mean? It is cool though. We're seeing these like battle lines drawn. I think one of the things I really appreciated, and Erikson is always good about this, is in these chapters getting a sense for the scope of what's going on, that we're just watching. Like it feels like enormous what we're seeing within this book, but it's just one story within a larger war that is going on. And there's so much, there's references to a sail, like to all these different continents where there are, different empires and factions fighting and all these different gods, picking sides. And it's epic. It's fun to read, getting that sense of wonder and, just the broad scope of the whole story and the story we don't see really.
All right. It's a very important part, though. I think we're seeing here.
Yeah. It's not like it's not like a side story about, some nobodies per se. It's definitely pretty major. No doubt about that. We're seeing the creation of a new god and the return of other gods and the elevation of gods and, empires clashing, even indirectly. It's, no big deal for sure. On that note, should we go into chapter 21, where we get some interesting insights into a lot of different things? Starting with, I guess we start with the bridge burners leave. They're leaving. They're marching out. First one's in, last one's out. And
And then we get a good epigraph that's all about betrayal. Like I think I've said before, I usually like the epigraphs that have more to do like fake history and stuff rather than poetry. But this is actually one of the ones it's more poetic, but I really liked it. But it's the theme is betrayal.
Yeah, it's a good one. We got a bunch of good epigraphs here back to back.
Mm-hmm.
So do we want to? We start off here with Silver Fox and Gano's Perrin. I believe Dan, you're the one who first mentioned it. Want to take us away here?
It was very well. Silver Fox was very salty, I guess. Like, on the last time they met, where they were somewhat, they seemed to be on quite good terms the last time they met, right? Which was, albeit several chapters ago, but now they were quite inamicable, I guess. I don't know. It felt like seeing a breakup after, you've been sort of quarreling for a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, actually, that's my big criticism with this bit is in many ways it feels very natural and appropriate that it's like, oh yeah, Ganos was just infatuated with her, and I'm glad he's realizing that. I don't really know where this extreme breakup energy is coming from though. I feel like it does come kind of out of nowhere, and Ganos in particular, I don't know why he's suddenly realizing he was just infatuated with her. If anything, you think he would be having more of a crisis because she looks like a woman now. She's a woman now, the sexual feelings are there. What I just don't really understand when/why he came to the realizations he did. It feels like we skipped over it. And now he's just telling her that?
I don't know, the sort of middle school, you know what I mean? You go from zero to everything very quickly, and then from everything to zero also very quickly, right. And you have a lot of drama and all this sort of stuff. It feels a bit like that. I don't know, Gano's is the way he talked in that part. It was kind of annoying to me too. I was kind of like he was talking like he was so much better. You know what I mean? It's very patronizing, I think.
I love it. If we're picking sides in this breakup, Dan, you picked Team Silver Fox.
They were both very, not. I'm not on either side, but what Perrin was saying, I also agree, because that's what we were saying a lot of time before. He was infatuated from nothing, which is true. But why say it you've been oh, you're so much wiser now that you've gone through a long relationship and now you know what love is. You know what I mean? It's kind of I don't know.
Yeah, he does come across as kind of immature, a bit of a dick here. But I think he is pretty young, and he's definitely inexperienced. So it makes sense. He's not old.
I guess we don't know. Yeah.
He's in his early 20s.
Yeah.
Because we think Fellison is 15 at this time, maybe 16, and Tavor is only a few years older than her. Tavor is just the crazy prodigy who's 19, 20 years old and is in charge of armies, which is crazy when you put that into perspective. But I guess Alexander the Great did it, so.
True.
But Ganos is, he's maybe 24, 25.
Yes. Things never had a relationship. Yeah, I can see that.
Is Tavor younger than Paran? I forget.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, he's the eldest.
Yeah, she's the youngest.
Where's the maturity from
Fellison the youngest.
Silver Fox.
Thank you.
Coming from.
I'm sorry, what about Silver Fox?
Where's the immaturity from Silver Fox coming from? Because she's got millennia of technically experience.
Sure, but also in a way she's 3 months old.
I guess. Yeah, I just want. Yeah, that's we were discussing it last time too, about discussing what she did with planning mass gathering, stuff like that. We were not sure where her personality is coming from at all these different stages, I guess, right? Like, do we just swap and one is taking charge, then another one, so you get also the negatives of that personality, as in, if now the dominant personality is the Flanima's child, then she's basically not even a teenager, she's a child, basically.
I think there is something intentionally disjointed about like how she exists as a character, that like, yeah, I think her personality is in flux, where she is, has all these different warring souls within her, including, as we were reminded of last chapter, literally a baby bonecaster. So there is that infant inside her, and she's, I think in some ways it's kind of like, I mean, I don't know what the proper metaphor is, if it's adolescence or mental illness or what, but like, I think she does have a storm of personalities raging inside her, and that's something actually I really like. I like how Silver Fox is written in this book as a whole. The thing I like the most in her conversation with Perrin is her talking about how she is like watching over her mother, but she feels so much guilt that she won't be around her, and she's trying to like protect her from afar magically because she's being hunted. And there's a tragedy of like, the Mai believes that she's the one sending the wolves after her, but like maybe the wolves are there to actually protect her from something else. And there are just kind of layers to very like human tragedy here, the pathos. I think a lot of people, it could be easy to get frustrated if you're like, oh, if they would just have a conversation. But like, I don't know, this feels like very human to me, that naturally, of course, this like newborn being who's got all these different personalities, is going to, and who is like quite literally drained her mother to death, is going to feel an immense amount of guilt and not handle this in the best way.
It does make Tyler's argument more in previous chapters, kind of like, how can you predict she's going to act the correct way, I guess. I mean, we know he's coming from a bad faith standpoint, obviously, but if I was other people, powerful people, you would doubt a bit, I guess, because of how unpredictable and how, all this personality swapping is happening. Because at the beginning, she seemed quite in control, like she knew what she was doing, more calm and stuff like that, at least until like halfway through the book. And now she's looking a lot more unbalanced, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think he makes a lot of good points. It's just like his end, decision. I mean, the same way with the Talani Mass, where you're like, yeah, like it makes sense to be kind of like afraid of the Jagged and blah blah blah. But like, maybe the answer isn't just like genocide them all, and likewise, just because she's kind of scary, like, doesn't mean you should just kill her. I think I struggle with amidst all this, and it's not, I don't consider it a flaw in the writing, but it's just something that I grapple with in regards to her character, is like, I don't know how to feel about Night Chill. Like, we keep being told that Night Chill sucks and is like really cold-hearted, but like the bit of her that we've actually seen, like, she seemed pretty okay. Like, she teamed up with the other Elder Gods to like put the beat down on Calor after he, really asked for it, frankly, by nuking his own people or whatever he did there. Even if he didn't nuke them, he was a tyrant. And while she like turned against the Malazans, like, okay, they're like a, conquering empire. Like, I'm not going to blame her for that. Like, I don't feel like she's morally worse than they are. So I don't, other than the fact that like we're given this sense that she's kind of cold-hearted and is very calculating, I don't feel the threat that Night Chill poses. I don't know why she would just suddenly like throw their army away to the Panian Domain, for example. Like, I don't feel like she's going to be like, let's sacrifice them all. Like, let's let the crippled god win, whatever, you know, like I just don't see that. That doesn't feel right to me. So Calor's argument in that sense, I'm like, it's just like, if I was to look at anyone in the camp and be like, I'm concerned they're a traitor, we should do something about them, it would be Calor, you know?
Probably.
Like, and I mean, that's kind of the point we've talked about, that like, you know, it's probably better to have him like nearby than wandering off on his own, causing trouble somewhere. Although inevitably, you know, he's gonna cause trouble for you.
But I guess like the Planet Mass are like, how do I say? I mean, there was the whole massacre thing that happened, which everyone keeps referring to. So that must somehow have an impact on be like, well, she's also ahead of it, you know, head level Planet Mass now. What if she also does stuff like that, right? I don't know.
Yeah, I honestly no. In that way, I am more scared of the Talani Mass and her. That like, if that comes out and is just like, kill all the Jagged, like do whatever we have to genocide the Jagged, like that to me is scarier than the Night Chill inside her. Because I just don't feel like we've been given a reason to think that Night Chill is going to do something psychotic.
Yeah. Well, we don't know what Night Chill wants. Do we know what Night Chill wants?
That's part of my problem, right? Is like, I don't really know what she wants.
Yeah.
Well, later in the chapter, when they're talking, they do mention that Night Chill, I think she wants Animanderake's sword, because it talks about how she was close to the sword. So that beyond that, I don't know. Like she wanted the sword. I mean, we know that Bellarden made the move against what was the other guy's name? Acaronis or something.
Oh yeah.
The other wizard that nobody's ever talked about. You know, but yeah, so Bellarden moved against him, but yeah, beyond that, we don't really know what Night Chill's actually here for, except, you know, the sword. And even then, we don't know why. We don't know, like, what is she really about?
Hairlock. He was just fine.
What about Hairlock?
He wasn't involved in any of the scheming going on during the Black Tail, I guess, right?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, I think he had his own schemes, but they blew up in his face.
Yeah, it sounded like the scheme was Night Chill was after the sword. Bellarden made a move against that other guy because he was the guy that had told Taishran about Night Chill, about, you know, like maybe they're up to something.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. I also just like, I don't get the sense that Bellarden would have fallen in love with her if there wasn't like some decent traits inside her, you know? Like I mean, I guess there's so little we know about their relationship, but what we did see of Bellarden, I just don't feel like he is a complete moron. And while he may do stupid things because he loves her, I don't feel like he would love someone who's just like an evil psycho. You know what I mean?
So,
I don't know. We'll see.
Do you believe what Ducek said about Taishran and all the other stuff?
Yes. I feel like the way it's presented to us, I mean, I don't know. I don't know that Taishran is like, it's kind of presented as if it's like no big deal. But I do think he's not like as malevolent as he was initially presented to us. And I will admit, actually, on this read, like my first time I was like, oh, that's a cool twist. You know, everything's more complicated than you expect. And like, I still like that, like everything's more nuanced that way, but it does kind of just feel like why are we not addressing that sooner? Why did we spend so long thinking Taishran was like a terrible person?
The bad guy?
Know? Yeah, like a bad guy.
I guess you think like end of book 1 should have been addressed?
Right, exactly. Like I feel like, I mean, why isn't Dujik having this conversation with Whiskey Jack sooner?
Yeah. 'Cause it
I'm
was a
with
big
Whiskey
deal.
Jack there, and that Whiskey
Right.
Jack is like not only like, man, I need to get out of this war. It's bad. It's not fun. I'm old. I'm tired.
Yeah.
But he's also like, my friend betrayed me, you know, and like that's very real. But it just kind of feels like secrets for secret's sake, which, you know, you could say is like,
I agree.
in some way, like that feels appropriate for like Lysine, for example. You know, like Lysine, like that's kind of her whole deal, is she is like all about secrets, and you know, she created the claw and all that. But it just at a certain point it felt like we're just like, oh, it's just to have this reveal later on. Like it was just like, you know, oh, we hate Taishrin and we're scared of him, but like nothing actually happens with that. I mean, maybe that's part of it too, is because nothing comes of it. Like they don't fight him, like nothing happens. It's just like, we hate Taishrin. 2 books later, by the way, he actually wasn't that bad. And you're like, well, okay, we don't even really see him,
Well,
so like it doesn't mean that much to me.
well, and we don't really know how good he is. We just know that he
Right.
didn't, you know, intentionally try to kill people. You know, we know that he is. I think what we get in this chapter is he's loyal to the Empress.
Right.
And
Our
he, you know,
favorite.
he didn't try to. Yeah. Well, okay. So and I think what we're given is that he didn't intentionally kill the bridge burners.
Right.
Like when they were put in these tunnels, like I think it said something like he thought this was a safe place.
Right.
And it turned out not to be. Instead, it killed most of them. So, but like, yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean he's a good guy. It just means he's not outright malicious.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree with that. Like he's definitely like, he's a morally gray character. He, you know, this doesn't completely, you know, wipe his slate clean or anything like that. And you do kind of get the sense from that too, from like, you know, that we're not supposed to just like feel that way, because Whiskey Jack is our POV character, and Whiskey Jack is, you know, actively thinking, Dujik, like this doesn't excuse everything. Like even if it was just a mistake and he just made mistakes, all our people still died. Like this is a problem. And he still like lied to us, and you lied to us, and you know, this sucks.
Yeah, that's what I get out of this reread. The first reread, the first read, I thought, you know, oh, he's a good guy. Like that was the twist. But on the reread, I feel like it's not necessarily he's a good guy. He's just not as bad as we thought he was.
Right.
It still does make a lot of the discussions and a lot of the, you know, starting point for a lot of the things that the bridge burners do and other people do in the first book. It changes it a lot, right?
Yeah. No, for sure.
I just try to remember. I can't remember exactly. Again, a lot of these discussions, stuff like that. I just remember how Taishrin was put as this like bad guy, right, in the first book.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, he's like one of the like big malevolent figures in particularly like the first part of Gardens of the Moon. And then, I mean, he doesn't actually feature that much into that book as a whole, in a weird way. Yeah, he like disappears after Pale, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the misinformation or miscommunication of it all is like, there are parts of that where I really like the reveal, or different reveals in this series, when it's like, oh, this was actually much more complex, and this character isn't as bad as you expected, or they're worse than you expected, or whatever. But this one, like in hindsight, I just feel like is a little cheap, and maybe again, I just feel that way because there's not like, it's just not that important. I mean, weirdly, it's very important in that the bridge burners almost got wiped out, but in terms of like what actually happens in the story of the books, it's like kind of a side bit, you know, the footnote in the story.
Okay.
I think the most like impactful part of it for me is the Whiskey Jack of it all, and like what it means for him as a character, and how he feels about his place in the Malazan Empire and the army.
So maybe I'm forgetting. why was there then the enmity between like the bridge burners and like the oh god, I'm forgetting her name. What's her name in the first book? The bad Malazan woman. Not bad, but the oh god.
Which one? Which
The
who
one
are we
with
talking about?
Talking about
the release the tyrant.
Oh, the adjunct.
Yeah, yeah. What's her name?
adjunct, yeah.
Lauren. Oh, Lauren.
Lorne. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lorne.
Then I guess why was there that? And I'm forgetting. I'm already forgetting things from the first book now. Because wasn't I just remember in the first book there was a lot of like the bridge burners being like, oh, Tatrin is against us and the Empress is against us, everyone is against us, right?
Yes, because they were against him. Lysine actively was like Lysine was by that point actively cooing people and like wiping people out, and so they had reason to believe that they were going to be next, not least because they thought Tatrin tried to kill them all. And it turned out that the Tatrin of it all was bullshit.
Yeah, okay.
Presumably. But there is like there are like they were legitimately under threat.
Yeah.
In a sense.
In the first book we're given that Lysine is wiping out people who are friends of Kellenved, the old guard, and so that was them.
That's why Lorne was in
position. That wasn't so.
Yeah, that's why Lorne was raised to the position, because like Tavor, she was young, but she was elevated because Lysine wanted one of her own people to be the adjunct. And similarly, right, with Tavor. Now, the question is Tavor just another Lorne, or is there more going on there? And we'll see.
But is the other thing that Dushek says, I think Dushek says, or Whiskey Jack, about the planning mass killing all those people at Caliban's orders?
Yeah.
Is that true? Like he just did it to...
I don't know. That's a good question.
PR to the Empress? Because it's set in the same section as Tatrin, right?
Yeah, that's certainly what he thinks. I had forgotten about that as well. So that's interesting. I don't know. I mean, if that's true,
it's bad.
That's really bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like it's certainly. I wouldn't put it past Kellenved, particularly at that point in the story. If you think like at roughly the same period, I think even a little after that is when they did the massacre of the fishing village where Apsalar is from. You know, so he was like committing war crimes just because fuck Lysine at that point. You know.
Just go back for like that stuff. I'm gonna put it next to the other scenes with him being more goofy or being like, oh, all the orphans that he brings in his, you know what I mean? It's very contrasting, I guess.
I agree. I struggle with it sometimes, but I think maybe that's the point, is that he is, I mean, they call him crazy repeatedly. Yeah. So I think he's not necessarily predictable. He's meant to be a little hard to get a read on. And I think he also puts on a character, is the sense. I mean, you think he's like the god of illusions. And I'll admit I'm taking this a little bit from knowledge from the prequel books that I'm reading. But like I think he kind of is a showman. So like he kind of acts a certain way on purpose, you know, to kind of throw people off. So he's like real feelings are, I think, he keeps more guarded. Okay. That said, I do get the sense that he like lashed out like a child to Lysine, because otherwise there's no reason to do the things he did.
But if he did, I mean, he did do the massacre in book 1, and if he did that, but he can't be a good guy. Like whatever we see about him, like he's not a good guy, you know? Like even if he's presented sometimes in a favorable way or like in a goofy way or in a positive way, like, you know, he did all this bad stuff, which I don't know. I don't think it can just be like, oh, it was in the past, or, you know, everyone does it. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's honorable. Like, he's not like a whiskey jack who's like probably done things that we would consider really bad, but is like actually like a decent person deep down. Like, I don't get that sense. I think Kellenved is like actively like definitely in the darker shades of gray. Like, has good inside him, but he's very much like a self-serving, you know, mean, egotistical person. And I have more I want to say, but we have to. Yeah, there are a lot of books, but I
I
agree
don't
with you.
think
I think
Whiskey
like
Jack would do any of that stuff.
no, I
Right?
agree. I agree. Yeah,
Or Karen, or
100% no. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah. No, I totally agree there. All right. Well, next, this is a good transition to talking about. I mean, it's not as fun when Varsha's gone now and Mirka's not here, and so I'm kind of just preaching to the choir. But Whiskey Jack and Corlat really not doing anything for me. There's like an occasional good line of dialogue or something, but it's just I'm just bored. Like I want to move on whenever I get to their scenes. I don't feel like they have good chemistry. I'm just not feeling it. You know.
Yeah. And is it? I mean, I guess maybe they're there to be like a sort of proxy between the relationship between the different factions,
I think so. Yeah, I think you're right.
Because there's a lot of that sort of, trust and not trust and telling and not telling thing.
Yeah,
which is kind of what the armies are doing. Um,
that's the thing I like the most about the relationship is how it shows the different like faction mindsets, their point of views, what they believe about the other people as a group, as a species, all of that.
I don't need the relationship. I don't
No.
It's a bit too sappy for me.
Yeah, well, I mean that's I can get into like very like kind of like all in like, oh, I love you, I'll be with you to the ends of the world, blah blah blah. But like it needs to feel really earned.
Yeah.
And this really doesn't feel earned. Like it feels like they again went 0 to 100 real quick, and I don't know. I feel like anytime they're on screen together, they're arguing over just like basic miscommunications, and it's just not doing it for me.
Maybe if
at
they
all.
had a whole book of like
right.
and then we can have it, I'm like, okay, sure. Now it's become like a long-term thing, and it's like, there's a lot of history to it, I guess.
Right.
But right now, there's no, like you said, it's not earned, at least for us. Like we haven't earned it.
Yeah, it just unfortunately it's just not clicking.
Unfortunately,
I was really hoping
not here.
I know there's no one to defend them, but
What would Varsha say? Oh, it's very romantic. What will she say? They're very sweet.
Missed this one line of dialogue that foreshadowed their entire relationship, and it's actually very sweet. And isn't this line so good about them talking about their love for each other? And I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe women see something we don't see.
Clearly, I mean, there's something going on there that we're just not having the same effect here. I feel like a very callous man when I hear them enjoying it, but I love a good romance, and I'm just not connecting here. And I think Erikson can write a good romance. I think there are some in these books that are really wonderful, and I don't think this is one of them. It feels just very forced.
Which one is the best romance in these books? I'm trying to think.
I have to hold off on that one because I don't think we've had it. Although I do really like. It's not as fleshed out at this point as it maybe could be, but what we have seen of Apsalar and Crocus, I like their dynamic.
It's just so little, though.
Yeah.
It's not. I wouldn't say it's enough to be an actual romance. Just like any of the other small side romance. It's just we haven't seen it enough to be fully developed romance as far as storyline and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
I feel like they actually, like, going back and rereading Gardens of the Moon, I feel like they actually kind of have a sweet little storyline there in the second half of that book. Like, once they meet each other and he's, like, getting over his crush on Chalice and everything, I don't know. I like their romance.
I need a bit more. I mean,
I agree with that. It's still underdeveloped, but to me, I like actually care about them as opposed to Whiskey Jack and Corlat, where I'm just like,
yeah. Like, look,
Organos
if
and
you
Tattertail.
give me in this third book or second book or something, just put some half chapters or some scenes where they're going, they're walking through the streets and talking a little bit, they're having a kiss here and there, something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
And then I'm like, okay.
There wasn't enough of them as a couple in Dead House Gates. Like,
Yeah.
I was actually shocked about how little there was there because I, for some reason, remembered more.
That's why it doesn't feel real to me, because
Right.
I just haven't read much of it. Maybe I'm supposed to read between the lines, but I need a bit more.
Was
I
it
don't know.
in this chapter that pivoting that Perrin raised Picker up to be his lieutenant, and
That's funny.
yes, yeah,
Yes.
I really like that stuff. I'm really enjoying Picker and Blend and all like the little side bridge burners here, and I think there's a lot of understated pathos and drama in that scene. Not least with like her like trying to refuse the role at first. I really liked how that was written. I just thought it was really well done. I mean, I think as usual, a lot of the military dynamics are just very compelling and could come across in lesser hands as very dry, but actually are like very rich and full of character and personality and emotion. And I just really enjoyed that scene.
It's kind of fun, all the bridge burner parts, which give us the perspective of like a normal guy. They're like lower stakes because they're just normal people usually chatting between each other.
Right.
But it gives us a sense of how the army thinks and how the normal people and how they react with all these big stuff that's happening. And it's like the sort of stuff I don't think we had as much in the previous chapters, because in the previous books, because most of the previous books, most of the points of view were from characters actually involved in the main storyline. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think you're right about that. Like, we do have a little more insight into just like the actual like side characters, the people who are just like kind of there, like they're not like driving the story.
I think it's fun.
Which is
it gives,
fun.
Yeah, a nice break between all the important stuff and
Absolutely.
like the more relaxed stuff, I guess.
And you
It's a
gotta
good
love Spindle
pace,
with
yeah.
his disgusting hair shirt. I just
Yeah.
love it.
Wasn't
He's
there at
always
some
been one of my
point they
favorites.
were like, oh, Spindle and Dayton or something, oh, we're going to be like the representatives for the Malazan or something. We're going to the council to talk, and parents like, oh god,
Yes.
no.
The worst nightmare you can't even imagine. That was so good. There were so many good little bits like that. Yes, like in like relatively short scenes, like Erikson packs in a lot of great stuff.
They knock out the necromancers, right? Who was it that did that? Who was it?
So that was what I wanted to talk about.
Oh yes, this is a great.
That was So Cole and Murillo got attacked by the necromancers by Bocklin and Corporal. Well, actually no, not Bocklin, just Corporal Broach. And then somebody saying that they're the Knight of High House Death shows up. So, did you have any thoughts on that, Dan? Like,
I liked
on who this guy is?
Yeah, I didn't think about it before, but the fact that House Death is the enemy of necromancers makes sense, because they're stealing stuff from him, right? Usually, like, the god of death is the god of necromancers or somewhat like that, but actually this makes a lot more sense to me, that they're actually enemies. I don't know who the... Wait, no, isn't the guy, the House of Death, the jagged guy?
No, that was the Herald.
Oh,
this is the Knight.
Herald. It's the Knight. We've seen him before, though, at some point, right?
This character we have seen before, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and the last Knight of High House Death we know of was Dasim Ultor.
Yes, that may be what you're thinking of. This is a different character.
That was his role before he... And then now this is a different character.
I see. So, when Perrin goes to the afterlife in book 1, does he meet the Herald or the Knight of Death? He does meet someone in the House of Death, right? Can't
In book
remember.
1?
Yeah. Do you remember when he dies? I mean, he's sent back by
Oh,
Oppa?
oh shit,
I
yeah.
thought he met. That's
Who
where I
does he see
thought
there?
we met him before.
It isn't Hood himself, is it?
Don't think so, but
It's
yeah.
not the Knight. It's definitely not the Knight.
Okay.
I feel very. I've forgotten this was a thing, but I actually read this scene twice because I was like, wait, what's going on? Because it's kind of confusing, like intentionally, like a lot of his action scenes are, where it's like, oh, it's suddenly very chaotic and magic is everywhere and shit.
Are we supposed to know?
If you read very carefully, you can figure out who this person is. What I can say, he if he's working for High House Death, right? Probably talks about dying. He's not alive, so it's a character that's dead.
It's Hairlock. No.
His skin is bronze. He talks about being from a different continent.
Yeah. I remember that.
He's a really big dude.
I can't.
Do we get a proper reveal later? I feel like we must. Shannon.
Who? I mean, he's not blue, so he's not one of those guys. No,
this is a character you definitely know. I'll say I don't know. I don't. Shannon, do you remember like what? I don't remember if this character like what. If we get a reveal something, I feel like we must.
He must have ascended. Who ascended? It's not Coltane, obviously.
I think so.
In that case, we can hold off on it. But it's a cool scene, and they give you all the hints if you're very careful and you're reading it. It's the tough thing about it is, especially if you're not like, you don't have the context, the whole series or anything like that, is that there are so many characters and so many little like storylines and subplots that it's like easy to just like forget one or like, lose track. I mean, I would never have guessed this on my first time through. No chance.
It can't be anyone in book 2 because it happens at the same time as book 3, right?
I mean, roughly. It depends on where we are in the timeline, right?
No, but we're pretty sure it happens roughly the same time. I think there were some coinciding events, which
we know distinctly where we are in this chapter because this is right before the Trigall Trade Guild goes.
Yeah.
Like we literally see the Trigall Trade Guild leave. Quickbin sends them off, and Krupp comes in and is actually
almost at the end of book 2, which means they coincide for a good part of the books. They do coincide as far as timeline, I think.
Yes. No, you're absolutely right. But we are past most of book 2 by this point. Because Trigall Trade Guild, that was really late in book 2.
I mean, could it be one of the diverse or the shapeshifters? Don't know. No, because they died later on, I think, in book 2. I don't know.
Dead guy.
Do you remember what he said about his life? Like what he said there to them?
What did he say about his life? He said something. I just didn't know I was supposed to recognize anything, so I didn't pay too much attention to it.
Right. Understandable.
And I think that's fair enough.
Okay, well, maybe we'll know at some point in these books. Well, you'll tell me.
Someday.
Or I'll read.
Who knows?
One day.
All right. Is that it? Is there anything else?
One thing we forgot, talking about all the bridge burners before, we also get like a small snippet with the army painter, right?
That's such a good scene. Yes, I'm glad. Yes, Ormulogen, is that his name? Something like that. With his toad critic.
Yeah.
Hysterical.
It was very funny. Funny. But like everyone just treats the toad speaking as like it's normal.
They just go along with it. I had totally forgotten his critic was a toad. Like that's such a good bit. Oh my god. And I appreciate that like the artist isn't just like right or cool or any, like he's like a big narcissistic joke too. Like I love their dynamic, and then they're like attached at the hip, and it's so good.
Yeah, it's so fun. That part is really fun. I enjoy it. I think there is, but it does connect to other, like the second book, because there's also the army painter in the second book, right? It's following Coltane's army. I think we do also get a snippet of him. So I do like the idea of these army painters following the army, just painting everything that's happening and like the story. I think they also say like Caliban, yeah, he wants one with every army to just paint everything that's going on.
Right. Yeah.
It's I like
As the
that.
historian. Yeah.
Yeah, like the historian and the painter, just following everything. It's pretty fun, I think.
It is. And yeah, I mean the use of like how it's like propaganda, but you know, they want someone who's like going to do it well and, you know, tell a good story, and you know, all the little meta comments and like jokes that Erikson gets to make with these moments are just like a lot of fun. It's it's great.
Yeah, but I think he says like, oh, they need to paint as precisely as possible. I don't know if that's sarcasm. I wasn't sure if I was supposed to read it as sarcasm.
No, I think that's still kind of the
They-
idea, but it's still propaganda. Like, there's no way.
Yeah.
It's, you know, and it's like any story. Like, you're never gonna do it perfectly real because the real version is less interesting than the one you can, you know, come up with.
I don't know how he describes like Dujek arriving as the liberator or something, but it was like fun part to it.
Oh my god, I have to find this scene. That's such a good scene. There are so many good quotes there. Her quotes.
Yeah, and the frog.
And yeah, oh, here we go. Oh my god, yes.
We need to have a frog versus crab standoff.
Yeah, the two toad-like people.
Well, the two talking in super weird way, I guess. I wonder what the toad is. Is it just a normal toad? Is it a guy that was transformed into toad?
Why is this toad able to talk? Is he a shapeshifter? What's going on?
I want to imagine it's just a normal toad.
Keeps trying to feed him flies. Hysterical. Ha! Slimy one. Ha! So very slimy. Here, have a fly.
Yeah, it's fun too. Like we're like discussing like art and philosophy and stuff like that. He's like, eat the fly, and he eats it. That's very fun.
Yeah, that he actually eats it because he's a toad.
Yeah.
Of course he does.
Obviously, he's not about. It's kind of like a bit like the crone and all the way he talks, and then Brood is like, "Oh, there's some trash outside. Go eat it." And she's like, "You know, you offend me," but then she goes, "Eat the trash."
Yes. Yes. Oh, it's so good. Here's another great little couplet. This is the toad. Or okay, here we'll start talking about one mosaic the toad saw that he liked. Fortunately, the attributed artist was long dead, permitting my effusiveness in its praise. You call that effusive? It shows promise. Was the comment. It's so good.
I wonder if he's saying something about art critics. If Erikson is just saying something about art critics here.
I think critics in general. I think Erikson definitely has pretty strong opinions about critics. The toad, I love. He's like starts out and he seems like very reasonable, and he starts talking. And he's like, "Yes, no, I exist to make observations for the commonality, aka the rabble, because they have no taste. I will tell them what to think." It's so good.
I mean, aren't we the critics right now, technically?
Damn, that's real. We're the real toad.
I'm just saying.
The real toad were the critics we became along the way.
I do feel slimy sometimes.
Yeah. I'll eat a fly occasionally.
I hope we see more of them later. I don't remember. I think we do see it at the siege a little bit.
What? See what?
The painter and the toad. I think they do show up later in the book too for a little bit.
I bet. Erikson loves his little, you know, side scenes where he gets to just have fun, be goofy, and make meta commentary. I have nothing else. So if you have nothing else, we can just see if we have any quotes. Otherwise, we've lost Shannon to the technical difficulties, Warren.
Replies.
Yeah,
I don't
think
have.
it's
I never
everything.
have quotes.
Well,
much work.
the one thing I'll read, because I just think it's wonderful, is the epigraph of chapter 20. It is a most ancient tale. Two gods from before the time of men and women, longing in love and loss, the beast doomed to wander through the centuries. A tale of mores told with a purpose of no resolution. Its meaning, gentle readers, lies not in a soul-warming conclusion, but in all that is unattainable in this world. Who then could have imagined such closure? From presumably a book, a poem called Winter's Love by Silberatha. I just think that's just so delightfully, beautifully written, and speaks to the nature of... there is just something so very mythic and tragic and beautiful about the idea of these two ancient wolf gods who get separated and are like constantly like looking for each other forever. Like that feels like a real myth from the real world. And then, now that we're seeing that, like they finally have a chance maybe to come together to reach some catharsis, some closure. It's I just love it. I think that stuff is excellent.
I enjoyed it. I like that. I like the romance more. Like it again.
Yeah.
We still have. Well, we haven't seen much of it, but the implication of the history gives us enough basis to, I think, believe in more. The epicness of it, I guess.
I agree. I think just like conceptually, it's very romantic and tragic, but also, I mean, I don't think you can understate too that it's like we're talking about two animals, so there's like we don't have to make it as complex necessarily, emotionally, right? Like we'd expect from like a real, like human or whatever sapient romance. It's here. It's just these two like wolves that mated for life and got separated and have been wandering around trying to find each other for hundreds of thousands of years. That's just a good story. All right. Well, if you don't have any quotes, and since we have Shannon, who he's gone and he usually does have quotes. Unfortunately, I don't know if he's coming back. We'll call it there for tonight. So thank you for listening, everyone, and we will see you next week with. Oh God. Oh no. I had one job. What are the chapters next week? 22, 23? Are we doing 24 also? Maybe? I don't know. Look at the website. Look at pagechewing. I don't normally do this. I failed as the adjunct. And that's where we're ending. Bye.